Okay, guys. Good morning, everyone. Okay, I think we've waited long enough already, but since I see only very few of you, only 1/3 of the class is here. It's okay. We can start first. But firstly, right, for the midterm test, I plan it to do on the week 5. This is week 3. So, in middle we have a week, and then we do it on week 5. So the way I plan to conduct the midterm test, right, it's based on first come, first serve basis. Let's say if you want to do it on the Monday tutorials, okay? If you want to do it early, you can do it during the tutorial itself. So the whole week, tutorials will be allocated for the midterm test. So in case if couldn't make it right on the first session of the tutorial, you can do it on the second session. Okay? However, the tutorial materials are separated. I mean, you guys have to do it separately and also submit it. Okay, so it's gonna be a really hectic week, which is week 5. Week number 5. Okay? So is everyone okay with this idea, or do you guys have any alternative idea? You guys can, just say it over here. Matthew, okay? During the lecture. Do you guys want during the lecture? Because the midterm test carries around 1 hour 30 minutes. So shall I extend the lecture? I think 30 to 40 MCQs, and then 10 true or false, and then another 10 of short answer questions maybe. So yeah. During? During tutorials. Okay, so he prefers during tutorial. How about you? It would be sort of an open book because it will be conducted on my times, right? So I think you will have the time to open a browser and search for answers, but the duration is very less. So you might need to rush, get the answers in a rush. Okay? So during the lecture, tutorial, better, right? Because you guys have 2 hours. So in case if anyone comes in the class very late, right, he still can perform the test, I mean. Okay, so that's for the midterm test. And also, another thing for this week is that this coming Thursday lecture, I will reveal the group project as well. Okay? The other assignment, which holds 40%. Okay? Your first assignment is 30%, this one is 40%, right? Sorry? Cable up? Click. Yes. Sorry. Oh, yeah. It's the functionable, prototype, yeah. Okay. clickable, sorry. I couldn't understand. Okay. So that's for this week. And then I think I'll proceed with the lecture first. No questions, No further questions? Okay, right? Brandon, okay? Okay. So for today's lecture, we're going to look at product design analysis. So maybe you guys want to have a short review of the previous lessons. So a short review, right? So in a nutshell, software design, basically for the product design, the input is mission statement document and also the product plan document, and as an output you get the SRS document. Okay. So for the engineering design, the input is the SRS document and the output is the SDS document, which is the software design specifications. Okay. So in case if you guys are wondering what we have been learning for these past 2 weeks, right? Just take this review of previous lessons, okay? Okay, for today's objective, right, to explain the product design process as top-down and user-centered, and also to list and explain several needs, elicitation heuristics and techniques, and also to describe how to analyze and document needs, elicitation results, and to explain how to check analysis results. Okay, so mostly it's going to be based on gathering requirements and how you evaluate those requirements. Okay, for this lecture. Okay, as for the topics, right, the first topic is product design process and also needs versus requirements. So needs versus requirements, by definition, needs is something different compared to requirements. When you say you need something, you can't actually be without it, right? So requirement is totally different. It's actually optional. Okay, and needs elicitation challenges, heuristics, and also the techniques, and also documenting domain goals and needs, and also the modeling part, as well as checking needs documentation. But yeah, for the first one, this is the flow chart. Okay, first of all, we will start with the project mission statement and also analyze product design problem, and then we try to elicit and analyze detailed needs. So based on that detailed needs, we try to generate or improve the candidate requirements, right? And also evaluate the candidate requirements, select those requirements, and finally finalize it and create the SRS document. So this is part of the product design. Okay. Okay, for product design process, there are two correlated strategies. One is the top-down, and also another one known as user-centered. Okay, for the top-down process, right, it begins with abstract requirements and also refines them. And designers move from user level to operational level, also to physical level requirements. So you can see the main activity in the resolution loop earlier. Okay, we have an example over here. This is a hospital management system. Let's say, right, we have a class of hospital. There will be multiple divisions inside a hospital. We have a laboratories division and also an outpatient clinic, nursing units, administrative division, and there are many more other divisions which are not listed over here. Okay, so for the abstract requirement, right, hospital management system should have billing component. So that's the abstract requirement over here. Okay. So here you see a billing department. So one of the abstract requirement that you can say it over here is that hospital management system should have billing component. Okay, for user level, operational level, and physical level requirements, examples with respect to the above requirements. Okay. Okay, so for the user-centered process, first is the stakeholder focus. Determine needs of all stakeholders and include them in the evaluation. And also the numerical evaluation, which is the collecting data about needs, desires, and design quality. And also the iteration, improve design repeatedly until it's enough, right? Okay, the differences between needs versus requirements. Okay, stakeholder needs and desires define the product design problem. Okay. So requirements specify the product design solution, which is the end goal of the screen designs that you are trying to make. But however, needs are totally different case. Okay. So needs and requirement statements are sort of similar, but the heart of product design is moving from needs to requirements. So conflicting needs and desires, trade-offs, and ways of satisfying needs and desires. Okay, let's look at an example over here. Okay, need is almost like a wish list. Okay, it's like a bucket list, right? So we want a system to manage our customer base, right? So automating the process in all the departments. And also requirements are details of the needs. Okay, so what are those processes, how it interlinked, who act on it, when, why, how, and so on. Okay. Okay, for the requirements or the needs elicitation, where it is about the gathering, right, of requirements. So the practice of collecting the requirements of a system from users, customers, and other stakeholders. The practice is also sometimes referred to as requirement gathering. Okay, let's say, right, you're working on your group assignment. You guys have around 7 to 8 members, right? So one of them, consider them as your customer, because you're going to gather requirements from them, right? And make sure you achieve all of those requirements coming from them, because that's how you will know that you have managed to produce an output satisfying all the functional requirements, right? Okay, what would be the challenges in requirements elicitation? So before proceed to the techniques, right? Okay, the challenges. Needs and desires must be understood in the context of the problem domain. Okay, so always try to look within the box of having the problem. So what are you trying to solve at the end of the day, right? And the final output is producing a software design, which is very user friendly to all of the stakeholders, right? And also a non-tech savvy person also should be able to understand your screen designs, okay? And stakeholders may not be available all the time. This is very true, especially in huge projects, right? Not all the times the business owners, people who invested money, will be around 24/7 around the clock, right? So it's very hard to catch them, but when you catch them, you make sure you deliver all the information. But right now, you guys don't have a real client, so it doesn't matter. But when you guys enter into the industry workspace, right, this is something that should be kept on your mind. Okay. Okay, stakeholder responses are often hard to understand and sort out, so not IT savvy. So these business owners, those who have large quantity of money, right, they won't understand this technological revolution happening on the outside, on the world outside, because they only know that the return of investment that they need to achieve by the end of the project duration. Okay, I have invested this amount of money, and by the end of this project, I'm willing to take out this amount of money as my profit, considering all the liabilities, right? Okay, so their responses are often hard to understand. So it's your job as software designer to convince them by saying that this screen design have a minimalized cost effect, and trying to convince them that in your position, that as a software designer, I have done my job in minimal effort with what you expect in the amount of the cost that you provided to the whole team. Because in an industry space, right, you won't work as a solo person. There's no one-man show. You will work as a team. Okay, let's say now you work as a team in a group assignment, right? Imagine the same team entering into an industry workspace, and you are given real projects. So that's how you should handle all these assignment group projects which are coming ahead. Because this is actually where you can practice among yourselves. Like, one person becomes the business owner, one person becomes the customer, one becomes the project manager, one becomes the lead software designer, another 3 of them becomes like a follower of the lead software designer. So you guys can split it up among yourselves. And some people can actually recognize the skill in others. Some people couldn't recognize the skill, but they possess the skill higher compared to others, right? So it's a very different dimension when you work inside a group assignment and group projects. So yeah, I mean, this is the only chance for you guys to explore the roles. Okay. Yeah. Okay. For example, it is near to election and Mr. Dato once. Okay. Always when there's an election coming, right? Always you see this political people want something, right? Like, okay, I don't want to touch more into politics, but they want something, right? Like, I want this number of seats for this particular region that I'm taking vote. Okay, so wants are different, the needs are different, the requirements is different. So that's sort of the point that you must catch over here. Okay, so what else? Okay, for the heuristics, the practical application, the guidelines, right? First thing first, learn about the problem domain first. Get to know what is the problem about. Okay, so each of you building software screen designs, obviously you have a problem, right? Some of them trying to solve an e-commerce space. Some of them trying to solve an maybe something like a tailor's maker space, right? Within the tailor's holistic education approach. Okay, so always learn about the problem domain first and try to collect as much research which has been done by other researchers as well, because you want to know what's their point of view as well, because there have been studies done and dusted multiple times already. So whatever you have been doing, right, it's already been inspired by others. Okay, there's no such thing as totally new that I'm going to create. Okay, so always learn about the problem domain first, and also determine stakeholders' goals as the context of stakeholder needs and desires. Okay, and also study user tasks. Okay, so whenever you split, right, the requirements, you want to know the user tasks also, because at the end of the day, the user who uses the software, he has a certain task that he needs to go through from start until the end of the software usage. Okay, so you want to know about the user tasks, like if he performs a login, how smoothly that login functionality has to operate, right? If he's trying to browse through a product, how smoothly it has to be done, right? Okay, so study the user tasks, and also example, take them out for a drink or one night out to know them better. Okay, so this happens in the industrial space. I mean, if you work in a company, right, normally during the weekends they have this drinking culture, right? So you can take them out for a drink or night out to know them better, because if you know your colleagues better, that's when you don't have this sort of egoism within you. So when you break those barriers of ego, right, so that's when you actually start to grow out of your comfort zone. Okay. Okay, for the second part, right, stakeholders often cannot explain their work or articulate their needs and desires. So stakeholders, right, they normally cannot articulate their thoughts into words. They only know it to say in a certain way, which can be understandable at certain point, I mean at certain times, but at most of the times you might be confused and you are trying to, reconverse with him again and again, and the conversation will not come to an end point. So it's always better to know the requirements first, because at the end of the day you work in a project and that project has to be delivered on at a certain point of time, right? So the company hires you for a reason, to work in a project, right? But if you are working like a freelancer or something, that's a different case. But if you are working in a company, it's always good to know the requirements. Have I met those requirements? That's the key goal that you always have to think. Okay, so don't try to go and explain to your stakeholders, the business owners, right, to explain what the work that you have done, Okay, and stakeholders also make mistakes and also leave things out and are also misleading. Okay. Okay, one more thing is that stakeholders often don't understand the capabilities and limitations of technology. So like I said previously, they are not very tech savvy. Okay. Okay, so we have an example. So Mr. Dato doesn't give a damn to Java or whatsoever. So he knows the election is coming near, but he doesn't care what kind of technology you use to pull the crowd to vote for you, right? Okay, so what are the techniques in requirements elicitation or gathering? So there's not many, there's around 7 to 8 only. First thing is interviews. So designers question stakeholders. So it is one of the most important technique, and many ways to do the interviews and recording responses. And also the observation, designers watch users work better than having people explain their work, and also several of the right people several times. And also this is the place where you talk out loud. Okay, so observation is the where you actually speak very loud, I mean. So and also it is being recorded also for the observations. Okay. Okay, next we have focus groups. So it is sort of an informal discussion led by a facilitator. So usually there will be 6 to 9 people, and facilitator keeps people on task. And yeah, it will mostly touch until up to the user level requirements. Okay, another one is elicitation workshops. So this is a directed discussion led by a facilitator, and more directed and detailed than a focus group. Okay, and specific goals need to be achieved, and needs or desires or product features and details. So requires committed stakeholders also, because some of the stakeholders might not attend this sort of workshops, right? So it is a waste, like if you conduct it also. So make sure everybody can commit to it. Okay, finally we have document studies, which is the books where you learn about the problem domain, and policies and procedures, process improvement studies, development documentation, problems, and also bug reports, and also suggestions. Okay, we have competitive product studies also, because whatever you're trying to create, there's always a competitor for that. Okay, so you might want to study about them and how the way they marketed themselves. Okay. And also we have something called as prototype demonstration. So a prototype is a working model of part or all of a final product. Ferret out features and capabilities, explore user interface ideas, and also visionary products, right? Because you get to test sort of an alpha or beta testing version of your softwares, right? Okay. Okay, which technique to use? So use several techniques, favoring those that allow direct contact with stakeholders, because we want to know what the stakeholders think. Even though it's hard to grasp what they are thinking, we always want to have a direct contact with them. Okay, and also documenting the problem domain. So whenever you get a problem, make sure to document it, organize the notes, make a problem domain glossary, and make an organization chart, make UML activity diagrams to know in and out of the system. Okay, so a stakeholder goals list is a catalog of important stakeholder categories and their goals. So categories are based on roles, not individuals, jobs, or titles. Okay. Okay, for the need statement, right, there's a statement called as need statement, which should name the stakeholder, state one specific need, be a positive declarative sentence, okay? And it often requires interpretation of raw data, okay? Okay, and there's something called as needs list, which is the bucket list also. So need lists should be arranged hierarchically, and try arrangement with note cards, and prioritize needs, which also includes the numbers, high, medium, low, and consult stakeholders. Okay. Any question up until this point? Am I going too fast? Or nothing understood? All okay? Okay, shall I ask you guys a question? Okay. Okay, what is the first technique for gathering requirements? The first one which came on the slide. Interview, yes, okay. The second one? Discussion, right? Wait, discussion is it? I forgot also. Observation, okay. Okay, and the third one is focus groups. And then we have workshops, right? And then document studies and also competitive product studies, right? Okay, so this is what you guys have to remember, right? And how you choose based on these techniques, what is the main criteria of you choosing these techniques? You need to have a direct contact with the stakeholders, right? Right? So here it mentioned, so which technique to use? Favoring those that allow direct contact with stakeholders. So anything, any technique which involves the stakeholders, okay? Okay. Okay, now for the modeling part, okay? So many kinds of models can represent the problem and also help designers understand it. Okay, so many modeling notation and techniques useful for analysis will be discussed later. So various UML diagrams are there, and use case descriptions, user interface diagram, dialog maps, conceptual modeling, and also use case modeling. Okay. Okay, for checking needs documentation, right? You guys might want to know what is the quality of checking needs, right? So first thing is the correctness. So a statement is correct if it is contingent and accords with the facts, right? Okay. And also the scope. A goal or need is within the project scope if it can be satisfied using the planned features of the product created by the project. Okay. And also terminological consistency. So it is using words with the same meaning and not using synonyms. Okay. And also uniformity. Okay. A description has uniformity when it treats similar items in similar ways. And yes, completeness. Documentation is complete when it contains all relevant material. And also review activities. Developers should use checklists. Okay. And also stakeholders should review documents. Okay. Finally, the summary part. Okay. So I will upload the lecture slide into My Times. So meanwhile, do you guys have any questions? No questions, huh? So your midterm test on week 5, huh? And this week, Thursday, I'll reveal the group project, okay? The clickable one, okay? The presentation. The presentation, we will do it on the final week. The week after the final week. Because I think you will have sort of 1 week break before you go to the finals, right? Right? If I'm not mistaken. You will have a week of break, right? Like after week 7, which is 21st of March is the last day for the semester. So I think you will have we will find a day, okay? Because in total we have around 10 to 11 groups, right? So I need at least 2 hours. Okay, nice. Thank you for coming. Okay, at least 2 hours needed for presentation. For the final presentation, okay? And yeah, I want all of you to present because it's very important. It's not about creating stuff, right? It's the way you present it, right? Okay, anything else? Any questions? If there's no any questions, shall I provide the attendance? Can I? How many of you are there? 3, 7, 9, 13, 16, 18, 21, 26, 28, 30, 32, 35, 37. Okay, 37 out of 90 students. So I assume that most of you are watching from the live recording, right? Okay. Okay, never mind. Okay. So I'll provide the attendance code. You guys can mark the attendance, and I think we have a class from 10 to 12, right, for the tutorials. Okay, so those who are joining the tutorial, I think they can stay, but the others can leave actually. Okay, for your group assignment, I believe that you guys have already started, right? Anybody have any issues with group formations or any issues with your team members, not enough members, anything like that? Yes, okay. Okay, there is a group which has not enough members. Anybody want to join? You need 2 members, right? You need another 2 members. Okay, he needs also 2 members. You need 1 member. Okay, can you guys sort it out right now? Because I just want to see on the Excel, the Google spreadsheet, right? I want to see the exact number of 8 for all the groups. Okay? 6, is it? Okay. But there will be like a lot of free riders, right? It's troublesome for you guys also, right? So you are willing to give them free marks, is it? Okay, so that's the reason that earlier I rushed all of you to do it very quickly. Okay, Brandon, your group needs 2 members, is it? Okay, wait, let me open my times and see. Okay, so for the first group, I think everything's settled, right? Which is the Matthews group. And then Lu Tan Yu, I think, okay, it's the Navigo group. I think they're not here. Okay, Nicole's group, I think, okay, right? Enough, right, Nicole? Okay. And then the Potato GPT. Okay, who are they? Anybody can, okay, Solomon, your group, huh? Okay, so enough, right, members? Okay, and then Wu Zian Biao, your group members, enough, right? Okay. Okay, so they all don't have any issues. I think Brandon's group, right? Okay. Okay, who's Bai Yung? Okay. Why do you fill up your name over here? Like, there's nobody representing on the leaders, and there's no group name, and it's just blank, right? So why don't you try to join someone? Okay, maybe you guys want to take him in. Which one? Which one? This guy. Okay. He hasn't replied, is it? Okay, okay. If that's the case, I'll try to contact him personally. If he still didn't reply, then you guys can. Is he part of your group now? No, right? But this pink color, is it your group? Okay. So if he still didn't reply, right, for me, you guys just remove him out, okay? And try to include someone else. Okay? Because you don't want someone who doesn't reply, right? So I will try to contact this person personally. So Bai Yung, okay, you join here, right? Liz May? Liz May, anybody name Liz May? What's your name? Do you have a group? What's your name? Tasha. Vasha. Oh, okay. Okay, Lu Unyi. Okay. Out of these 3 fellas, I only managed to find this one fella. These 2 guys, 2 girls, I don't know who is this, okay? Okay, I think Ahmed Mustafa's group is having enough members. Naveen, okay, Naveen is not here. Okay, so I think there is space in Naveen's group as well. So in case, right, people who watch on the live recordings, if you want to join Naveen's group also can. Okay, because I think he has around 6 members. And Diane, Dane, right? Where's Dane? You have enough members in your group? Okay. Fatiha? Panapto. Okay. Okay, try to sort out this group members. I mean, I want 8 exactly in number. Brandon, try to find out somehow another 2 members for your group. If you're unable to find, right, just start off the project first. Okay, start doing your work first. Maybe later on, I think it will get sorted out, because the communication has been really troublesome for us, because some of them we can't contact them, right? So it's very hard also. Okay, so I think that's all for today. You guys have marked the attendance, right? Okay, so thanks for coming. Have a nice day, all of you.